How do I stay away from drinking when there are liquor stores and bars everywhere around me? This is something that I often encountered as a question when I was working in the addiction setting, in an outpatient addiction setting in Baltimore, Maryland. And so I would get this question, and it would be quite difficult because there is a reality in Baltimore where there are so many blocks that have liquor stores on them or bars on them. Sometimes they're on the same block, liquor stores and bars. And folks were desperately looking for ways to avoid returning to patterns of substance use, return to patterns of drinking when they wanted to stop completely. But they were constantly passing by these reminders of those beverages that they had difficulty stopping. Then this is even a reality in the place where I grew up, in a place called Oxon Hill, Maryland, where there are 8 liquor stores in a 10 to 15-minute walk from where I grew up. And even there are 2 liquor stores right across the street from each other. And so that's where this concept of relapse prevention comes into place. Relapse prevention. And so with my horrible editing, my horrible video editing skills, I'll see it pop up. I'll try to get it to pop up somewhere up here above me. In consideration of relapse prevention, some folks may say, I want to stop using a substance completely, whatever that substance may be, whether it's opioids, alcohol, cannabis, some other substances. They may say, I want to stop using this substance completely. But I'm still dealing with these reminders and navigating through these reminders related to that substance. And this is where relapse prevention comes into place to help you navigate through these difficult states of affairs. With relapse prevention, there are some common strategies that are used to help someone maintain their recovery. So, for example, one is noticing your triggers. So, triggers are these things that may prompt someone to return to patterns of using that substance. And so, triggers could be something like, hey, I'm walking past this liquor store on the way back home, or I'm driving past this liquor store on the way back home. That's a specific trigger to me. Or when I see someone smoking in movies, for example, or smoking on TV, that is a specific trigger to me because it reminds me of my vaping. And so with noticing these triggers, it's also noticing warning signs. So what are, that person's specific warning signs, not warning signs, goodness. What's that person's specific warning signs? What's that person's specific warning signs that give a tell that you may be interested in returning to patterns of using a substance, although you desperately don't want to? Noticing and knowing your own warning signs so that you can take the next actionable step. And then there are also coping strategies. So identifying ways to deal with the stress, deal with difficulties, deal with trauma, deal with different complex issues that may appear in your life. Because for some people, they use substances to kind of cope with some of the negative things in their lives. So if you know that is a reality, what are some potential ways that you can cope without having to use substances? Like whether it's engaging in some form of art, whether it's listening to music, whether it's engaging in some sort of exercise related activity, whatever that coping strategy may be, that positive coping strategy that's unrelated to the substance. That's something else that goes into this toolbox of relapse prevention. Another tool in this toolbox is your social support system. So having folks that can assist you when you're dealing with these difficulties related to not returning to that substance use. And so they would leverage their social support system as a way to avoid returning to patterns of substance use, whether it was their significant other, their friend, family member, or some other major person in their life. Another thing is to have a plan to navigate through these complexities. So dealing with those triggers, dealing with those warning signs. What's something that you're going to do? What are a few plans? That plan could be a combination of using those new coping skills and strategies. Another plan could be contacting your social support system, or a combination of the above. And then lastly, you also want to have some sort of plan if there is a specific setback, if you are having setbacks in your relapse prevention goal. So ultimately, relapse prevention is just something that folks can use to strengthen their ability to remain abstinent from specific substances. And then there's also the concept of harm reduction, where folks may be interested in reducing the amount of substance that they use. And so using some of these similar strategies to avoid using in that same high amount or higher frequency that the person used to use the substance in. And this is just the reality of folks trying to cut down or stop using a substance overall. They may have these triggers or these constant reminders of that substance. And relapse prevention is ultimately a skill to assist them in not returning to those patterns. Ultimately, I hope that someone out there found something in this video useful, and I thank you so much for watching this.